chords, arcs, and radii. First concept, if a radius is perpendicular to a chord, then it bisects the chord. Let's say given radius AE is perpendicular to chord BC, then BD is congruent to DC. Applying the concept, if BC is 10 units, what is the length of DC? Alam natin na ito ay perpendicular, ibig sabihin parehas ang sukat ng BD at DC. Kung isang buo ay 10, ibig sabihin tig 5 sila, DC is equal to 5 units. Next example, the radius of circle A is 6 units. Chord BC is 2 units away from the center. What is the length of the chord? That's one. Kung mapapansin, magkakaroon ka dyan ng right triangle. Para mahanap yung isang side ng triangle, gagamit tayo ng Pythagorean theorem. Mas madali kung alam mo kung nasan dyan ang hypotenuse. I-locate mo lang yung 90-degree angle, opposite nun, yun ang hypotenuse. Kasi, sa Pythagorean theorem, yun yung equals. Equals the square of the hypotenuse. Ibig sabihin, yung dalawang legs na natitira, yun ang magiging side ng triangle mo, square mo lang sila. AD is equal to 2, kaya 2 squared, plus si DC ay wala, kaya DC squared equals, ang hypotenuse natin yung 6, kaya 6 squared. Simplify natin, 2 squared is 4, copy lang yan. 6 squared is 36 kasi 6 times 6, 36. To solve for DC, lipat natin si 4 sa kabila. Kaya magkakaroon ka ng 36 minus 4. Positive siya dito, lumipat, negative na siya. Sagutan natin yung 36 minus 4 is 32. Extract the square root both sides. Ganito na siya. Ibig sabihin, DC is equal to square root of 32. Since si 32 ay hindi siya perfect square, isip ka ng dalawang number kung saan pag minultiply mo 32, yung isa dapat may square root para madali nating masimplify. Yun ay 16 times 2. Ang square root ng 16 ay 4, kaya lalabas yung 4, may iwan sa loob yung walang square root, yung hindi sakto, na 2. Final answer is 4 square root of 2. Para lang yun doon sa DC. Ang hinahanap natin ay yung haba nung chord, yung BC. Binaisect siya nung radius, kaya pareha sila ng sukat. Therefore, BC is equal to 8 square root of 2. Tinimes 2 mo lang. Next concept, in the same circle, if two chords are congruent, then they are equidistant from the center. For example, in circle A, chord BC is congruent to chord ED. Therefore, AF is congruent to AG. Ito, basta magkapareha sila ng sukat ng chord, pareha sila ng layo sa center. Next concept, if two chords of a circle are unequal in length, then the longer chord is nearer to the center of the circle. Pinarallel ko na lang yung chords para mas madali nating makompare kung sinong mas malapit sa center. In circle L, MN is not equal to OP. Obvious naman na si MN ang mas mahaba kumpara kay OP. At si MN din yung mas malapit kay L, kay center, kumpara kay OP. Next, in the same circle or in two congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their chords are congruent. In circle Q, chord RS is congruent to chord UT. Yung minor arc niya, UT, at yung minor arc niya rin na RS are congruent. In circle A, arc BC is congruent to arc ED. The length of ED is 16 units and the length of AG is 6 units. Based in the figure, AF is perpendicular to BC and AG is perpendicular to ED. What is the length of the radius? Applying the concept, since si arc BC ay congruent kay arc ED, it follows na yung line segment BC ay congruent din kay line segment ED. At since itong line segment na to ay perpendicular sa chord, then it divides the chord into two congruent parts. Kung ang ED natin ay 16, si GD at saka si GE ay tig 8. Ganon din dito sa kabila. Si FC ay 8, si BF ay 8 din. Ang AG natin ay 6. The same din yon kay AF. Hinahanap yung radius. Pwede natin ganito siya i-illustrate. Merong right triangle sa figure. Hypotenuse yung nawawala. Yung radius dito, yun yung magiging hypotenuse dun sa triangle. I-apply natin yung Pythagorean theorem. AF squared plus FC squared equals AC squared. Ang AF ay 6, si FC ay 8, si AC, yun yung hinahanap. 6 squared or 6 times 6 ay 36. 8 times 8, 64 equals AC. I-add si 36 at 64, you have 100. Extract the square root. The square root of 100 is 10. Ibig sabihin, yung AC na radius ay 10 units. Another example, in circle A, angle ACB is 30 degrees. Chord BC is 2 units away from the center. What is the measure of angle ABC? AB at saka si AC are congruent. Bakit? Kasi all radii are congruent. Si AC ay radius, si AB ay radius din. Equal sila. Magkakaroon ka rito ng isosceles triangle. Ito yung base ng isosceles mo. Kung 30 yan, yung opposite niyan ito, si angle ABC ay kaparehas ng sukat nito. That is 30. Number 2, what is the measure of arc BC? In a triangle, lahat ng angles ng triangle, ang sum nun ay 180. Si angle B mo at saka si angle C ay 30 na. Ilan na lang yung natitira para kay angle A? Dapat pag pinag-add mo sila, 180 yung sagot. 30 plus 30 is 60 equals 180. Ilipat natin yung 60 sa kabila, magiging 180 minus 60. Therefore, angle A is equal to 120. Ito ay central angle. Diba? The measure of central angle is equal to the measure of its intercepted arc. Kung 120 ang central angle at ang intercepted arc niya ay BC, and si arc BC ay 120 din. Number 3, how long is the radius of circle A? Alam natin na ang chord BC ay 2 units away from the center. Pag nag-measure ka ng layo ng isang point sa isang line segment, perpendicular yon. Therefore, it bisect the angle. Kung 120 yung angle A mo kanina, tig 60 na sila. Dahil dyan, magkakaroon ka ng right triangle. A special right triangle. That is the 30-60-90 triangle. Ang theorem na yon, ang opposite ng 30 degrees ang shorter leg. Ang opposite ng 60 degrees ang longer leg. At ang opposite ng 90 degrees ay yung hypotenuse. Ang sinasabi dyan, ang kailangan kasi nating hanapin ay yung AC. Kasi yun yung radius ng circle A. Ang sinasabi dyan, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg. Ang radius natin ay opposite ng 90 degrees, which makes the radius the hypotenuse of the triangle. Para makuha yan, twice daw yan nung length ng shorter leg. Ang shorter leg natin ay 2. I-times 2 mo lang yon, yun ang magiging hypotenuse mo. The answer is 4. The radius is 4 units. Number 4, how long is chord BC? Tulad kanina, ang shorter leg natin ay 2. Opposite ng 60 yung longer leg. Yun yung kalahati ng mismong chord natin. Ang sinasabi sa 30-60-90 triangle theorem, the length of the longer leg is square root of 3 times the length of the shorter leg. Ang shorter leg natin ay 2. Then, imumultiply mo lang yan ng square root of 3. Ito ay magiging 2 square root of 3. Yung kabila, since equal naman sila, magiging 2 square root of 3 din. Ano ang total length ng chord BC? That is 4 square root of 3 units. Practice time. So, in circle A, the measure of angle DAC is 45 and the length of chord BC is 10 units. Number 1, how long is the radius of circle A? Number 2, how far is the chord from the center? That is the length of AD. Pause the video para mas mahaba yung time na magsagot. Later, we'll pause the answer and the solution. For number 1, this is 45. Ibig sabihin, 45 din yon. Meron tayong isosceles right triangle. Ang haba ng BC ay 10 unit, tig 5 sila. Sa 45, 45, 90 triangle theorem, the length of the hypotenuse, ito yung radius natin, is square root of 2 times the length of the leg. So, ita-times ko lang yan by square root of 2. Ang sagot, 5 square root of 2. Therefore, the radius of circle A is 5 square root of 2 units. Number 2, how far is chord BC from the center? kung ito ay 45, ang opposite itong 45 degree na to ay yung DC, syempre itong 45, ang opposite nun ay yung line segment AD. E-equal sila. Ibig sabihin, yung DC, parehas din yan ng nandito sa AD. The answer is 5 units. Thanks for watching. See you on the next lesson.